What's going on, everybody? Today I'm going to be showing you 4 tips to make your FZ6 more reliable. I've had my bike here for about 5 years, and if I'd known these tips when I started owning the bike, I would have had a lot less issues. They're all pretty easy jobs to do, but it keeps your bike in tip-top health and prevents any long-term things from going wrong with the bike. Let's get it. The first tip is lube your clutch cable to prevent it from snapping on you, being unable to shift gears, at least smoothly. To do this job, you need an aerosol can of engine oil or just basically an aerosol can of light oil, and it's handy to have this little adapter here to pressurize the oil going into it. I'll show you how we lube it at this end, at the cable housing, and at the clutch housing. Let's get to it. Remove your cable by winding the adjustment in and lining up the slot. To lube the clutch cable at the grip end here, I put a straw basically on the aerosol can of engine oil, stick it in the housing of the cable, and shove it in as far as I can go. Like that, and spray it on in. It will spray out some schmutz, so you want to have a rag nearby to kind of soak up the junk. And that's it. I've already done this before, but once you've got lubricant in there, you want to pull and push the cable in and out so that you can force the fluid down the cable. The trick of this tool here is that you see how it has an opening here and it's closed off there. You slip the cable in and the housing into the opening as well. You pull it forward until it stops, then you tighten it down. And in theory, it makes a nice rubber tight seal that allows you to force the oil, the aerosol oil, down into the housing and in all the way through the cable. But in my experience, that doesn't really happen. I can crank it down as tight as I want, but it always sprays out the cable end here. I'll show you. With the aerosol can here, when I squeeze it, see, it kind of comes out onto my hand. So really, you don't need this tool. It's kind of a gimmick. Really just get the can, it'll come with the tool. Here at the clutch lever, you can either start spraying fluid in through the opening here to get more fluid at this end of the cable housing, or you can take off the 2 5mm Allens, relieve this bracket of some pressure and get more play of the cable in and out. You can also remove this rubber grommet on the end to get your tube further in the housing. Spray some lubricant in there. Remember to clean up the excess lubricant so it doesn't attract dirt and grime, which would cause more problems. And then put it all back together. You don't have to take the clutch arm off the rod that goes down to the housing, but if you loosen these 5mm on the side, it just gives you more room to play. Next tip is to inspect your throttle cables for any signs of wear. You see right here, I have a couple fraying strands on my throttle cable here. I'm going to be replacing this in the future. This is a sign of an aging cable, especially because it's slipping in and out of the housing here when you roll on and off the throttle. Remember, your throttle grip should have 3 to 5mm of rotational movement, so check that as well while you're here. But this is bad. This snaps, you're not going anywhere. Even though you've got 2 throttle cables here, one's for acceleration, one's for decel. So if you snap your acceleration cable, you're not going anywhere anytime fast. Tip number 3 is install a battery tender cable. This makes it easy to access your battery. You can both check the voltage and charge the battery through this. This means you don't have to pop up the tank to get to the battery to do a routine thing. This is great for storing the bike if you want to put it on a trickle charger, or just if you haven't ridden the bike in a week or two and you want to have a strong start. So throw this in, it's like 12 bucks. You just wire it onto the leads of the battery. It's no problem, super easy. Tip number 4 is set your idle speed correctly. Your idle speed on this bike is very important because it affects how much charging voltage you have when you're idling, which leads to a lot of the common issues with FZ6 being dead batteries and whatnot. So when your bike's warm and idling, it should be at 1300 RPM plus or minus 50 RPM. That can be hard to gauge, but basically on our gauge here, it's going to be between the 1500 mark and the 1000 mark. Let's turn it on. My bike's cold right now, so we'll see where it idles. You can see, even though my bike's cold, it idles just around 1500, and then it will slowly come down to basically the 1300 range. This has helped me immensely and probably would have solved all my charging issues had I had this in the beginning. I owned this bike for a year or two, during which it idled around 900 RPM. I'd find my battery would die after I went through downtown or a lot of stop and go traffic. It was a big issue, but ever since then, it's been really good. To adjust the idle speed of your bike, let it get up to full operating temp, and then move this Phillips head screw counterclockwise or clockwise to raise or lower the idle speed. Remember, you're targeting 1300 at a warm idle. You can just stick a regular length number 2 Phillips screwdriver through this opening here and turn it. Or if you don't have that, some needle nose pliers will probably get the job done. So those are my 4 tips for improving the reliability of your FZ6. Really, it's removing the possibility of you being absolutely stranded because of a broken clutch cable, throttle cable, a low idle killing your battery, and also being able to maintain your battery and make sure it's in good health with the battery tender. So if you do those 4 things, I'm confident you'll extend the life of your FZ6 and reduce the likelihood of you being stranded. Like I've been. A couple times. But that's why I'm here to tell you guys. So if this video helped you out, please smash the like and subscribe button down below. And as always, thanks for watching and have a good day.